English Grammar in Years. Raymond Murphy.
Unit 101. Adjectives and Adverbs 2. Well. Fast. Late. Hard, hardly. A. Good and well. Good is an adjective. The adverb is well.
Your English is good, but you speak English well.
Sophie is a good pianist, but Sophie plays the piano well.
We use well, not good, with past participles, known, educated, etc. For example, well-known, well-educated, well-paid, well-behaved.
Sophie's father is a well-known writer.
Well is also an adjective meaning in good health.
How are you today?
I'm very well, thanks.
B. Fast, hard, and late. These words are both adjectives and adverbs.
Darren is a fast runner. Darren can run fast.
It's hard to find a job right now. Kate works hard.
Sorry I'm late. I got up late.
Lately means recently.
Have you seen Kate lately?
C. Hardly. Hardly means very little, almost not.
Sarah wasn't very friendly at the party. She hardly spoke to me. Equals, she spoke to me very little.
We've only met once or twice. We hardly know each other.
Compare hard and hardly.
He tried hard to find a job, but he had no luck. Equals, he tried a lot, with a lot of effort.
I'm not surprised he didn't find a job. He hardly tried. Equals, he tried very little.
Hardly goes before the verb.
We hardly know each other.
I can hardly do something. Equals, it's very difficult for me, almost impossible.
Your writing is terrible. I can hardly read it. Equals, it is almost impossible to read it.
My leg was hurting. I could hardly walk.
There's hardly anything in the fridge.
D. You can use hardly plus any, anybody, anyone, anything, anywhere.
How much money do we have?
Hardly any. Equals, very little, almost none.
These two cameras are very similar. There's hardly any difference between them.
The exam results were bad. Hardly anybody in our class passed. Equals, very few students passed.
She was very quiet. She said hardly anything. Or, she hardly said anything.
Hardly ever means almost never.
I'm nearly always at home in the evenings. I hardly ever go out.
Hardly also means certainly not. For example,
It's hardly surprising that you're tired. You haven't slept for 3 days. Equals, it's certainly not surprising.
The situation is serious, but it's hardly a crisis. Equals, it's certainly not a crisis.
adjectives after verbs. You look tired, etc. Unit 99C. Adjectives and adverbs 1. Unit 100. Exercises 101.1. Put in good or well.
I play tennis, but I'm not very good.
Joe's exam results were very good.
Joe did well in his exams.
I didn't sleep well last night.
I like your hat. It looks good on you.
Can you speak up? I can't hear you very well.
I've met her a few times, but I don't know her well.
Lucy speaks German well. She's good at languages.
(101.2). Complete these sentences using well plus the following words: behaved, informed, kept, known, paid, written.
The children were very good. They were well behaved.
I'm surprised you haven't heard of her. She is quite well known.
Our neighbor's garden is neat and tidy. It is very well kept.
I enjoyed the book. It's a great story and it's very well written.
Tanya knows about everything. She is very well informed.
Jane works very hard in her job, but she isn't very well paid.
(101.3). Which is right?
I'm tired because I've been working hard.
I wasn't in a hurry, so I was walking slowly.
I haven't been to the cinema lately.
Slow down. You're walking too fast for me.
I tried hard to remember her name, but I couldn't.
This coat is practically unused. I've hardly worn it.
Laura is a good tennis player. She hits the ball very hard.
It's really dark in here. I can hardly see.
Ben is going to run a marathon. He's been training hard.
(101.4). Complete the sentences. Use hardly, plus the following verbs, in the correct form. Change. Hear. Know. Recognize. Say. Sleep. Speak.
Scott and Tracy have only met once before. They hardly know each other.
You're speaking very quietly. I can hardly hear you.
I don't feel good this morning. I hardly slept last night.
We were so shocked when we heard the news, we could hardly speak.
Kate was very quiet this evening. She hardly said anything.
Gary looks just like he looked 15 years ago. He has hardly changed.
David looked different without his beard. I hardly recognized him.
(101.5). Complete these sentences with hardly, plus any, anybody, anything, anywhere, ever.
I'll have to go shopping. There's hardly anything to eat.
It was a very warm day, and there was hardly any wind.
Do you know much about computers?
No, hardly anything.
The hotel was almost empty. There was hardly anybody staying there. There was hardly anyone staying there.
I listen to the radio a lot, but I hardly ever watch TV.
It was very crowded in the room. There was hardly anywhere to sit.
We used to be good friends, but we hardly see each other now. But we hardly ever see each other now. We invited lots of people to the party, but hardly anybody came. But hardly anyone came.
It didn't take us long to drive there. There was hardly any traffic.
There isn't much to do in this town. There's hardly anywhere to go.
Additional exercise 31, page 320.